So the car is double parked in the street. I go around the car and I'm passing the car on the driver's side. So I'm going around the driver's side, and as I creep around the driver's side, going slowly, there's a passenger in the back in the back of the car of the other driver. So he goes to open the door because he didn't see me coming. Bam! So as I'm driving by, I just hear pop, and I hear, oh. So okay, cool. I look back. It's like maybe, I don't know, the car's packed, maybe 2-3 dudes in the back, the driver, passenger in the front. I'm like, all right. What I do is I go a little bit further up where I could pull over, and I pull over. Okay. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of LB Tales from the Hood. And in case you don't know, it's your boy LB, and today's episode is called The Car Accident. So today's episode took place about 20 years ago. We're going to say sometime around 2003. I don't remember exactly, but we're just going to say 20 years. So this is a scenario. Okay, I was coming back home one day to my block, and as I'm driving through, and matter of fact, I had an old car too. I'm going to tell you why it's significant in a minute. I mean, you know, the car accident, the car. So it was like an old, what was it? I think it was like a black Corsica. Maybe like a, I don't know, 92, 90. I don't even remember. I don't remember. It was just an older black Corsica. So I'm coming home, right? Get to my block. And right towards the middle of my block, because I stay a little bit past the middle, more towards, you know, the corner. A few houses from the corner, but a little past the middle. When I got to the middle of the block, I noticed a car double parked. Okay. So the car is double parked in the street. I go around the car and I'm passing the car on the driver's side. So I'm going around the driver's side, and as I creep around the driver's side, going slowly, there's a passenger in the back in the back of the car of the other driver. So he goes to open the door because he didn't see me coming. Bam! So as I'm driving by, I just hear pop, and I hear, oh. So okay, cool. I look back. It's like maybe, I don't know, the car's packed, maybe 2-3 dudes in the back, the driver, passenger in the front. I'm like, all right. What I do is I go a little bit further up where I could pull over, and I pull over. Okay. As I'm pulling over, the guy in the back, they trying to get their door open. The impact was so hard, it impacted the door where he couldn't really get it open. It was like, it was badly damaged. It was like wedge closed. So I see the guys getting out. So getting out of the car, it's maybe like, I don't know, like I said, like maybe 3 in the back, 2 in the front. It's like, yeah, so that's about 5 of them. Then they had they people up the street. They was, you know, I guess they homeboys, they was kicking it with, because they was there talking to some people. So there was some guys sitting on the corner further back or whatever on the other side of the street. They started coming over. It might have been like maybe, I don't know, another 4, maybe something like that. We're gonna say about four people. Then further past where I live, there was about another maybe, I think 3 or 4 people in the curb. I'm trying to go by memory, but I'm gonna put it like this. All in all, it was about between 10 to maybe 12 people, I would think, on the driver's side, on their side. I'm talking about with the other guy that I got in the car accident with, and I was basically by myself. Now I know in a situation like this, a lot of people would have been nervous and scared. They'd be like, oh shoot, this, you know what I'm saying? People seem like they coming from everywhere. They probably get nervous, try to pull off. First of all, it's my block. I live there. I can't pull off, because even if I pull off and get away now, I got to come back here. And besides that, that's the coward route. Let me tell you something. A lot of times when situations happen, accidents, mistakes happen. Misunderstandings happens all the time. It's not the fact that it's happened. It's how you deal with the aftermath afterwards. So if you stand up and you just, you know what I'm saying, just find out what's going on, try to deal with it amicably, a lot of times that's how it's going to go. So I wasn't thinking like, okay, it's so many of them, it's just me by myself. It is what it is. So as I get out the car to inspect the damage, it's dark too, and I got an old black Corsica. I couldn't even tell. Actually, the only damage that ended up being in my car was the mirror on the passenger side where, you know, his door hit. That was just it. It had like a little bit of like scratches. It was dented. That car, actually, I think it might have been an 88 Corsica. I know they built cars back in the days like old tanks. So they don't build it like this cheap fiberglass these days, fold up money like a pretzel, whatever, that fake metal stuff they got. But like I said, it wasn't that much damage in my car. So anyway, so when I'm coming back to walk back towards the block where it's at, like I said, first thing, the guys are coming around and I'm getting swarmed. 10, like I said, 10, 12, I'm not sure, 13. Don't remember the exact amount. I believe it was in double digits though. So there's two ways you can react to this. You can take a negative reaction, a positive reaction. See, if you heard my story, if you know a little bit about me, I've been jumped in the past. I've dealt with situations. I've, lived in situations. I've been in the hood, dealt with all different types of situations. So at first glance, it could look like, okay, they surrounded me like it's going to be something. But, like I said, it's not always the initial action. It's your reaction. So rather than get aggressive, first thing I'm thinking is, okay, I got to take defensive maneuvers because just in case it gets ugly, I'm looking to deal with it diplomatically. Because, you know what I'm saying, these are my brothers right here. I mean, I don't know them, but they look just like me. I'm not trying to get into it with my brothers if I can avoid it. I'm not trying to get into it with anybody, no matter what they look like. But especially our brothers and sisters, too much violence between us, man. It don't make any sense. I'm not trying to add the black on black crime, but I'm taking a defensive posture. So as I see them come, I'm like, okay, I go to speak to the brothers around their car with that. So I said, all right, boom. Let me, actually, I think it might have been another car in front of where I live. But anyway, the point is, that's not important. I went to basically position myself where they was at. I positioned myself where I had my back to like another vehicle, but I was still facing them. And anybody who's ever been in an altercation with multiple people, you already know what it is. There's a possibility you're going to get jumped. Even if you have fighting skills, you never know how it's going to go. I mean, a lot of times you can hold yourself down, but, to be honest, I was trained for it. Like in Kung Fu and the different martial arts, we're trained to take on multiple attackers. So, but I'm thinking in my head, like I said, I'm still taking the situation like, let's see what it is. But like I said, I have my back because if you're dealing with multiple people, the last thing you want to do is fall on the ground. Anybody who's been in a fight, no, you fall on the ground, you're done. You're getting stomped out. You're getting feet put on your hands, everything. You're gonna be leaking on that concrete. So if your back is against something, or if you have to position yourself, so like I said, there was like a vehicle parked on the road. I was like that, but at the same time, now when I seen the guys, I didn't know, at that point, I didn't know who the driver was of the vehicle. And actually, and I think about it, the driver was still in the vehicle, I think, when I was surrounded by the other people he was with, if I'm not mistaken, trying to figure something out. He's like, oh, my car's messed up. So when I was out there, I seen like the biggest guy. It looked 6 feet something, kind of big. So I basically went to talk to him, not step to him like what it's going to be, but if it's going to be something and we do got to mix it up, I'd rather get into it with the biggest dude. Because anybody know, if it's the biggest guy, you know what I'm saying, you get into it and you don't know if he's the leader, but a lot of times people see the big guy and they're scared. So I'm like, let's see what it's going to be. But like I said, I'm still looking to deal with it diplomatically. And here's another thing too. What's crazy is, I don't know if they knew that where we was at, where I got surrounded, was actually where I live. So at that point in time, my grandmother, one thing, God bless her dad, her and my grandfather, both of them passed, loved them, may they rest in peace. She came outside and she was like, oh no, she didn't call me out as her grandson, but she said, she was like, she's like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna call the cops. She said, ask him to call the cops. And it was like, no, and I tried, and at the same time, it's almost like, I'm not embarrassed. I love my grandma, and I know she's trying to hold me down. She's looking out for her grandson, but it's kind of like, I'm like, please don't say like grandson, because it look like I need grandma to save me, but I know she's looking out for a baby. So I'm like, no, it's okay, it's all good. I said, we got this, we're going to work it out. She's like, no, I'm like, nah, and the guy's like, nah, it's all good, miss, we going to work it out. So my grandfather, at that point in time, he's up in age. He's probably like, he died in his 70s, 76, 77 maybe. He might have been about, trying to think. He died in 2011. He might have been about 8 years. He might have been about 69. We're going to say 69, 70. He might have been around 70 years old. He's 70 years old. The man had, a few strokes. He had cancer. He couldn't walk so well. He had the walker. With all this, I tell you this, I say that to say this. With all that, he's coming out there like, he's like, I'm coming out there. He's coming with the walker, and he's trying to get down the steps. He's like, I just need some help getting down the stairs. He told my grandmother. The crazy thing is, I can already see my grandfather. He was actually coming to hold me down. He was like, if it's going to be something, he was going to be out there fighting with me. And I'm like, oh, man. I love my grandpa. He always told me, he said, man, I'm an old soldier. He was in the military. He was a paratrooper, jumped out of planes, all that, fought in the Korean War. He's like, I'm an old soldier. He's like, We don't die, we multiply, we'll be alright. He's like, fight as long as you got breath in you. So he was coming to hold me down. I really appreciate it. It touched my heart, but I'm trying to deal with the situation. I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, we got this, we got this. So when I'm looking at the biggest dude there, whatever, he see me, he reached his hand out to give me a pound. He's like, yo, it's all good. He was like, I said, I got somebody who could work out the car door for my man or whatever. I was like, yo, let's go talk to the driver. So it was all cool. I think it gave him a pound, maybe gave a couple of the other ones a pound. It was all good, man. It was all over. He said, we're going to work this out. So I went over to the car, spoke to the driver, and he was like, I said, look, man, I said, your car looked like it's more damaged than mine. I didn't even see the little bit of the mirror, but that's light work, slight work. I didn't care about the car. It's an old car anyway. Just used to get to and from work at the time, whatever, man. We got to make it a little run. So, we exchanged a man for whatever, cool. But here's the thing, too, man. The funny thing. I didn't want the cops calling this guy because, first of all, you get the police involved. Simple car accident. You never know what it's going to be. Now, these guys that surrounded me, I'm going to be honest with you. They look like regular hood dudes. They look like they could be street. Now, with that being said, people going to do what they're going to do. I don't judge nobody. I don't know if they was riding dirty. I don't know if they had anything on them. My issue is if the cops is coming in, and they deal with it, let's just say one of them all. One of them can get hauled off to jail. I don't want somebody to be, get jammed up because of me, man. I don't play those type of games, man. I mean, if it's going to be something, if we ended up rumbling, we could rumble. I'm not going to call the cops on somebody at the end of the day. I get beat up, It happens. I mean, I'm confident in my skills. I can hold myself down, but I'm not afraid of getting beat. But it's not even about that. It's not about the physical. Like I said, if I could avoid the physical, because I studied the art of war too. Besides that, my Kung Fu teacher, Master T, always told us, always try to avoid physical confrontations, and you learn how to fight to not only defend yourself, but defend your loved ones or those who can't defend themselves. But you don't learn how to fight to get into altercations. And the art of war says, if you could win the war without pulling your sword, then you lost if you pull your sword to win the battle. Because what's the point in that? You're expending unnecessary energy. So before you think that it has to get physical, try to deal with it diplomatically, and that's what we did. But the point is this, though. Another reason why I learned about those police games is when I was around 14 years old, still kind of, still fresh in the hood down the VA, here's the situation. And here's the thing, too. I'm going to tell y'all about it because when I make a mistake, we all make mistakes. To err is human, to forgive is divine. But when I make a mistake, I darn sure make sure I don't repeat it. So this is when I learned how you don't play police games. Back when I was 14 in VA, it was about 2, 3 in the morning, whatever. The guy upstairs from us was having a party. So he's having a party, music's loud. My mother, she works late into the evening. She got to be up early, whatever. The fact is the music is loud. Me, young kid, still fresh to it. I wasn't schooled the hood rules, didn't know politics, didn't have certain code of conducts that I actually wasn't taught till I was about 15, about a year later. But the point is, I should have still known better. Got on the phone. Called the cops about the party, come get it. And the crazy thing is, too, the guy that was throwing the party, he actually tried to talk to my mom or whatever. So in a way, I'm like, shoot, I owed you one anyway. So, but that was some old hater stuff. That was totally wrong. The thing is, police came, they shut the party down. The funny thing is, the dude knew it was me too, because he came down. I heard one of his boys say, yo, if the little nigga wanted to come to the party, he could have just came, he could just came up here knocking the door. But it wasn't about that. But, it was wrong. And afterwards too, I felt so bad. They just came and just told me they had to keep the music down. So they shut it down. So another one of his boys like, yo, we take the party in my crib, whatever. They was leaving. But, afterwards I felt horrible about it. And I'm like, man, I was like, that was a foul play. It was and later on, when I spoke to the older homies and they put me on this stuff, they was like, that was a flag in the play. And to be honest with you, it's like he tried to talk to my mom, but when I thought about it, he really did it respectfully. Like he came, was like, yo, I smell your cooking. Maybe sometime I can enjoy it, whatever. He tried, he shot his shot. She turned him down, but it was respectful. And another thing is, I actually looked up the player. To be honest with you, the dude had a BMW in the hood, but he had his BMW, man, and a lot of cats didn't have those type of cars back then. So he had a little paper. He always had some ladies over there, doing his thing, his parties. His name was Lionel. I kind of looked up to the dude. So I don't know if he's going to see this. He might not even remember, but if he do, I apologize, Lionel. I salute you. And to be honest with you, dude could have got his get back, because where I felt like I owed him one for the situation with my mother, hey, he owed me two, whatever. That was a silly game. Shouldn't have done it. If he would have, to be honest with you, if he would have punched me in my mouth the next day, I would have let him do it. I wouldn't even fought him back. Because after my mother's situation, I'm like, yeah, if I was a real man, I could have been like, we could catch that fade. But like I said, he really didn't violate. But if I owed him one, he owed me two. So I would have let him get away with that. Alright, mouth bloody, you know what I'm saying? You got one on me. Shouldn't have done that, homie. But like I said, learn from that point. Don't play police games or whatever. Don't put the police on people. If, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason, you can work it out or whatever. And, you know, like I said, car accidents, certain stuff that happen, you know, other people. I'm not trying to tell anybody else how they should handle it. I'm just saying, basically, coming off the situation from me. It was two things that happened around the age of 14. That's one thing that happened that, you know, if I don't really live with regrets because I try not to make mistakes, but that's one of the things I regretted. I made that mistake, and after that, boom. Now, here's another mistake I made around the age of 14. It was a homeboy of mine from school. His name was Robbie Cartwright. There was a situation with a female, and it's like, you know, it was a misunderstanding, but, you know, she thought I said something, whatever. The point is, she was one of the more popular girls in school, so it's like, since everybody rocked with her, it's like nobody was messing with me, which they really wasn't messing with me anyway, because I'm from New York, and they was biased against people from New York there, but it was like one of them old, almost like I would say a Beverly Hills 90210 situation kind of school, so it's like, it was cliquish, so it's like when I was in the class, the whole class would turn their backs to me and turn their desk literally around. The teacher come pass out tests. She give it to the person in front of me. They got a stack. They wouldn't get to me. They would get up and walk around me, give it to other people. Like, I was completely ostracized. So what happened because of that? I was, you know, kind of disloyal to my friend. Not kind of, I was, and I lost a friend. I lost my man Robert Cartwright. And you know what? Regardless of the misunderstanding with that, and the fact that, you know, even though it was a misunderstanding on everybody's part or what part I played, the thing is, I should have stood with my man. And that's one thing I learned. It should have been me and homeboy versus everybody. Because if anybody know me, I got love for everybody, man. I don't discriminate against nobody. I don't go against anybody. If we can clear stuff up diplomatically, I'd love to. I don't like to take it to any other way. But if people going to draw the line, they're going to look at you like that, it should have been me and my homeboy versus everybody. In that situation, whoever goes against you, F the other side. I'm sorry, that's what it is. So I wasn't loyal in that situation as a friend, and I lost a friend. And once you lose a friend, it's like you can't get it back. Maybe you could try, but, you know, I felt bad because of it, and it's like it haunted me for many, many years. So based on those two situations, it's like once I make a mistake, I may not repeat it, but sometimes I overcompensate for it, because it's like later on down the line, it's funny. Actually, I have a story, mistaken identity. If you didn't see it already, go back and hear it. But when I was a little older, around like maybe 15, 16, I can't remember the exact age, I got the cops called on me for mistaken identity for something I didn't do. End up in the back of the cop car. Different story. You got to go check that out. But also what's ironic is about a year later, when I was 15, the young lady came to my house who was sexually assaulted, who needed help. And actually, when I called 911, they never showed up the first time. They said they did. We was out there. They showed up the second time, said we're not a cab. Didn't want to give a ride. But look, you got to go look at my previous story to hear about that. I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, they came to shut down a party thrown by people who look like me. But they didn't come to help a sister who looked like me. So it's ironic. And, you know, another situation that they didn't come. But there was a time that I almost died, that, you know, I called 911. Actually, the guy that was with me, the friend of mine at the time was at the house, called 911. I was bleeding out the throat and thrown up and almost died, and they saved my life. That's a whole, like I said, that's another story. That's one of my previous stories. But, you know, point is, though, make a long story short, you know, Robert Cartwright, if you ever see this, you know, I apologize. You know, I missed you as a friend, homie. Should have been me and you versus everybody. It is what it is. But I overcompensated. Getting back to what I was saying, I overcompensated. So later on, when I had people do me dirty, and here's another thing. My mother used to tell me this thing, right? She used to say, make new friends, keep the old, make the new ones silver and the old ones gold. So I was always like, yo, if we go back like car seats, and we go back to 4 or 5 years old, I'm like, you my man, or you my homegirl, if it's a female. I had love for everybody across the board. And like I said, you're a friend of mine, but people, when I came back, people change, especially when you've been going 6, 7 years, out of sight, out of mind, and you don't know how people develop. So when I came back, when I moved back to New York, years later, people started doing me dirty, but I'm thinking like they're friends of mine. And I'm like, maybe that's a mistake, or maybe I'm reading it wrong. They really didn't do me dirty. And it seemed like I gave them chance after chance after chance, and each time I'm like, nah, that's my man, they wouldn't do it to me. But here's another thing I learned too. When somebody show you who they are, believe them. Or just like if they tell you who they are, believe them. But also when people have a repeated pattern of doing certain behaviors, that's not a mistake. And another thing is to keep in mind, if somebody will lie and steal from somebody else, more than likely they'll do it to you. So, we fool ourselves that, oh, my man is, he might lie, all this. He might talk about other people as soon as they leave, or he might do this and have a bad attitude. But it ain't like that with me. More than likely, it's like that with you, too. You got to recognize these negative pattern behaviors. Stay away from people like that. Stay away from toxic people. Keep your vibe positive. But the point is, my karma was, I've had a lot of people stab me in the back. And even before the Robert Carver situation, I had a lot of people stab me in the back. But I think that when things happen in life, when you experience things, it teaches you and it shows you. And I didn't like how that felt, being disloyal to a friend. It hurt me. So maybe I overcompensated and kept people around longer than they did. But just know, homie, Robert Carver, I definitely got my karma back 10,000 times over. I learned loyalty over everything. And that's why, even when people was doing me dirty, I still had a lot of love from them. Like, these are my people. I'm like, I'm not turning my back on people no matter what. Sometimes you gotta learn to let people, let them go. Like, after a while, it's like, enough is enough. Cut them off. I wish them no harm. I didn't do anything to them because I'm like, man, look, if I ever had love for you, I got love for you. And a lot of these people, I love their parents. I might love your mom and dad, whatever. I just don't like the person's character as far as what they did and their negative behavior. But I hold no animosity. It's like, I'd rather walk away in peace than to stay there and to keep getting done dirty. And I'm not gonna, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna try to bring some physical altercation to somebody I love like that. I'd rather just walk away, man. So, like I said, I learned those 2 lessons when I was 14. Don't do that. Never the police games. Always be loyal. And like I said, make sure I didn't repeat the mistakes. Sometimes in situations where I need to let people go, I didn't. But hey, it is what it is, man. So, getting back on the main point of the story, I just want to throw that in. Sometimes I get sidetracked, a little sidebar. But I want to make sure I bring it to you all honest. I want to show you my frame of mind, my thinking. And also, by telling these stories, you can see how I progressed from the beginning, like the first one was the beginning, the setup, to different layers and different steps. Because a lot of times people get the wrong idea about me. They first glance, they get this first impression, or they might hear these stories and they're like, oh, this guy is something like this. They don't understand, man. It's not even like that. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of love in my heart. I'm here trying to, and another thing, like getting back to the car accident situation. Why would I want to get into my brothers or sisters or whoever, when we could deal with things peacefully, man? I'd rather spread love than shed blood. My first thing is spreading love, man. Peace. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, let's peace, man. You're either going to live in it or you're going to rest in it. So, with the car accident thing, like I said, me and the main driver, we exchanged numbers, gave a couple of dudes £1. It was all good. And that was pretty much it. Went back, got my V, pulled back in front of the house, parked up, went in the crib. It was nothing like that. And actually, nothing really happened with that. I guess his man fixed the car. Nothing came about it or whatever. But, I felt so bad. The crazy thing is, I felt so bad about homie car. I was like, I said, it's so badly damaged. Even though technically it wasn't my fault. I was like, if it's a big bill for him, I said, maybe I'll throw the homie a little something. But I said, he didn't get back to me anyway. I guess his man was like, he'll fix it, whatever. But that's the type of heart I got, man. Because I felt even bad for the dude. I'm like, damn. That's messed up. And his homeboy in the back was like, damn, he's like, my bad, I didn't even see you coming, and he threw it open. I'm like, man, look, accidents happen. That's why they call it an accident. But like I said, it's cool. Thank God nothing happened, no physical altercations. I'm happy. And another thing is this, too. You get in the mix with your brothers. Let's say you fight it out. Even if all of it ends up being a fight. Nobody gets shot, nobody gets stabbed, whatever. At the end of the day, still, they can either turn into ops or that's just a negative situation. But just think, if you deal with things amicably, these are 10 to 12 or however many was out there, potential brothers I could break bread with. You know what I'm saying? We could look out for one each other, whatever. I'm just saying it didn't turn out to be that, but that's always my frame of mind. Rather than getting into something negative with a brother or sister, especially you look like me, but really brothers and sisters with anybody, because we all, I believe in the Most High, and we're all His children, all His creations. So technically, all of us on earth are brothers and sisters. So before I get into it with anybody, I'm trying to deal with it amicably. And once again, this is a story, like I said, it ended peacefully. All's well that ends well. Not going to drag it on any longer. It looked like we're, 22 minutes, something like that, looking at the timer. But, this was a car accident. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I share these stories with you so you can learn something and also so you can see, because some people may go through something similar. And their first thing is like, here's the thing. Another thing is, too, people could tell the fake ones, because fake ones always overreact. Like, nothing worse than the fake thugs. The ones that see these rap videos or, they think they have in their mind what street is. Yeah, F that, I go straight at dudes, whatever. You could tell that's fake, man. That's not real. Real ones don't get down like that. If you could avoid a situation peacefully, why not? Who really wants to get in a physical altercation? It can go any type of way. Even if you win, sometimes you lose. Let's say I'm out there scrapping with 10, 15, however many dudes. Let's say one of them fall back, hit their head in the concrete, head is leaking and they dead. Right now, I got a murder charge, or you can end up with a manslaughter or whatever. But the point is the fact that it can go bad. You know what I'm saying? Now, what if I'm out there in the mix, and even if I'm mopping some dudes up, let's say I get cracked in the back of the head, something I unforeseen, you know, my kung fu skills, my spidey senses is off, all of a sudden, you know, I'm doing this, and I'm coming around, all of a sudden, pow, down for the count, you know what I mean? On the ground, getting stomped out. I'm just saying, you just never know which way it's going to go. So rather than even get to all that, which if it comes down to physical altercation, there's no fear in my heart. I fear no man and I fear no army. But just because I have no fear don't mean I'm going to be stupid and go out here and try to get into it, my brothers and sisters. And I always try to avoid altercations. Same way I don't come with no smoke. I don't have any ops, which is a beautiful thing. I might have haters. If it is what it is, you know what I'm saying, the hater's going to hate. But other than that, I don't hate nobody. So if anybody got a problem with me, that's their problem, not my problem, like I always say. So like I said, keep it peaceful, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Keep it loving. Hey, that's pretty much it. Try to pay forward good, man. Try to put good out there in the world. Because at the end of the day, I'm like this, man. During your life, we all leave footprints on the sands of time and on life. So my thing is, do you want to leave dirty, muddy footprints that people will look at and be like, all right, yeah, he was so-called real, but he's a dirty dude? Or even if they just be like, he was real grimy. You know what I'm saying? You want to leave dirty footprints? Or do you want to leave positive footprints that people will, you know, be okay stepping into? And even if you have kids, they can be proud to step into, and you be a real role model. Other people look up to you, because sometimes, you know, people look up to you, don't even know who to look up to. So be a real role model. People be like, you know what? I'm a walk how he walk. I can't walk a mile to the next man's shoes, but I want to follow a similar pattern of positivity, love, light spread out to the world. So that's what I try to do, man. So watch the footprints you make in the sand, but the decision is all yours, however you want to do it. I'm just saying, man, LB going to keep it positive, spreading love. Spread love. Don't shed blood. Let's stop the violence, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the car accident. Till next time. Know it's a little long-winded. I extended it, but it's all good. It's your boy LB signing out. Peace and chill to the next episode. Catch you soon, baby. Hopefully it won't be this long. Things happen. Like I said, life happened. But I'm going to try to get back to y'all soon. Supposed to do this weekly. I haven't been doing it. Like I said, things happen at the speed of life. See you soon, though, baby. Peace.